today's session, we're going to be talking about this book, Crucial Conversations, right? So create conditions in yourself and others that will make a dialogue the path of least resistance. And this is the book written by Stephen R. Covey. It's again one of the best books when it comes to conversations all throughout our life. Conversations are something which are very, very important. Certain conversations are much more important than a lot of other conversations because sometimes the stakes are really, really high in these conversations. So this book covers how do we actually go about dealing with these conversations in a logical manner, in a proper manner, so that we can come out victorious at the end of the conversation, right? Which are much more critical than a lot of other conversations because a lot of things are at stake. Possibly, maybe like a talk with one of your business associates, which where a lot is at stake. If you want to get that particular order or not, if you're going to be getting a promotional, if you talk about promotions, if you talk about to your managers about appraisals, these certain conversations, a lot are at stake, and we always have to come out victorious at the end of it. So crucial conversations, this book will teach you how to avoid conflict and come to positive solutions in high stakes conversations so that you can be effective in your personal as well as professional life. Understand कि बहुत सारे time जो crucial conversations होती हैं, they end up in conflict. Usually अगर आपको कहीं से पैसे लेने हैं, so these are also crucial conversations because the person who has to possibly pay up, and if their intentions are not correct, they don't want to pay up, they will always try and find a way to have a fight with you. So a lot is at stake because you want a good amiable conversation, you want actually to get the resolution out, but sometimes our emotions get the better of us in these conversations, and it leads to conflict, which we have to avoid at all cases. So what we have to decide here and understand is what is our goal, and we have to stick to our goals during the discussion so that we don't get emotional. Even the other person might get emotional, but we have to keep control of ourselves. We have to keep control of our emotions so that we are always very clear as to what is the objective of this conversation, what is the goal which we want to accomplish and achieve through this conversation so that we can actually achieve it. So when emotions run high in a conversation and we no longer feel safe, there are two ways it can go, either silence or violence. Both are not the situations which we want to be in. Neither of these options provide a solution. दोनों options जो हैं वो solution नहीं देते. So in a crucial conversation, we need a solution or we will be stuck. How do we avoid this? We remember our goal. किस तरह से हम silence as well as violence, and okay, this is not a movie dialogue, but दोनों हमें avoid करने हैं with the main thing कि we have to remain calm. We cannot let emotions get the better of us, and we cannot let emotions dictate the conversations, and that is by remembering our true goal, our true outcome. What is the outcome which we want to achieve from this conversation? This is when we need to remember our goals to prevent yourself from getting angry. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of this conversation and what information do I want to get clearly across to this person? What is that one or two messages जो हमें convey करने हैं सामने वाले बंदे को during this entire conversation? The thing is, once we realize that what we do want, we realize what we do not want. Just stopping to think about the goal, which should be not to walk away without a solution, can be a great way to keep yourself from getting angry. अगर हमारा aim हमेशा goal पे रहेगा, हमारा aim हमेशा solution पे रहेगा, और उस गोल को अगर हम माइंड में रख सकते हैं, हम एंग्री नहीं होंगे, which at a lot of cases these conversations में यही होता है, एक बंदा एक दूसरा बंदा एंग्री हो जाता है, even if the other person is moving towards anger. हमें solution माइंड में रखना है, हमें outcome माइंड में रखना है, गोल माइंड में रखना है, न्यूट्रलाइज करनी है सिचुएशन so that we do not get angry. दोनों एंग्री हो जाएंगे तो solution कोई नहीं होएगा, and we will be stuck in that conversation and we will not be able to move ahead. So if you need to tell someone something that might upset them, ask yourself things like, what do I want to avoid? What do I want here? The more you can keep both parties calm, the better the conversation will turn out. So आपका काम सिर्फ ये नहीं, सबसे पहले तो yes, you have to keep yourself calm. Secondly, you also have to keep the other person calm so that both of you amiably can reach a solution together. Now, listen to the other person's opinion to help them feel safe in the conversation. ये नहीं कि हम पहले से ही हमने ही दावा बोल दिया कि भाई ऐसे ऐसे यही करो, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए, this and that, and दूसरा बंदा सीधा ही बैकफुट पे आ गया. वो मतलब he or she will not now feel safe in that conversation, and result क्या होगा? Outcome हमें कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. And this is something which we can use. These are things which we can use, the principles of this book, in both our personal as well as professional life, right? So these are the 4 steps you can take to listen to someone, summarized in the acronym AMPP. AMPP stands for सबसे पहले ask, mirror, paraphrase, and then prime. Ask to get the ball rolling. Start by saying things like, I would love to hear your opinion about what you think about this thing. तो सबसे पहले ask, उनका stand पता करो कि where do they stand in this conversation, what is their opinion, before we actually burst out from ourselves. We want to ask and understand what is their opinion in this. Mirror, to confirm feeling. This is saying things like, you look unsure. Explain to them what you sense from the situation in a calm and understanding tone. So you remain calm. You have an understanding tone, that you understand where the person is coming from. You can talk and say things like, you seem unsure when you say this, what's actually bothering you. And, I would love to hear more about what you're feeling about this situation, so that, you also want to understand if they also want a solution or not. Now you want to paraphrase. This is to acknowledge their story. This will be, so if I understand you correctly, use this to understand how they feel. So उन्होंने अपना मतलब, you ask them the opinion, they give you their entire opinion of how they are feeling. Now you want to paraphrase so that you know that you've understood their point of the story correctly. इसको कहते हैं paraphrase. So you will say, so if I understand you correctly, then you repeat what you understand to, मतलब बेसिकली ये दिखाने के लिए कि आपको कोई मतलब उनकी बात समझने में आपको तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुई. कभी कभी मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग्स भी हो जाती है. So this will avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. Maybe they are saying something which you might agree to, you might have misunderstood what they're saying, which can also lead to a heated argument. So paraphrasing is very important, because now they can confirm if you've understood it correctly or not. Now you will have to prime. If you're getting nowhere, if someone clams up, they they shut down, they clam up, we might need to encourage them to speak by suggesting what we think they might be feeling. I guess you must think that I'm being unfair. And then you go on to summarize the situation, let them know the bright side of this conversation. And that can also help you in winning that conversation and taking it to a place of a win-win situation where both of you come up with a good possible solution to this situation. Now you use the STATE acronym to resolve a conflict. So iska kya matlab hai? Crucial conversations are highly charged on both ends, but they don't have to end in silence or violence. If you want to resolve conflict before it escalates, you can use the STATE method, right? So दोनों obviously crucial conversation है, आपके लिए भी high pressure है, उनके लिए भी high pressure है, because it's the conversation and the topic is a little sensitive, right? So now the STATE acronym, this is where that comes in. What is the STATE method? STATE method, author says, is share the facts. When you begin the conversations, make sure you give the facts and not your story. Always facts pe focus karo ki these are the facts. These are the things which has happened, and not your story about as to what you feel about it. Now, next mein aayega your story. Now you can tell your story and share the assumption you made. So you tell them, यार ये मेरे को ये 4-5 ऐसे facts थे which has led me to believe that I am assuming this is what you want. Is this true or not? Now you ask for the other person's path. Let them tell their story. Now you listen to what they have to say. Now you talk tentatively. Remind yourself that your assumptions are not facts. Facts are fact. उस fact से आपने क्या assume करा, right? They are not fact. They are your assumptions. So you have to understand that, and you have to talk tentatively, remaining calm, making sure that the other person also remains calm in the entire situation. Encourage testing. Encourage the other person to tell their viewpoint even if it is opposite from yours. Usually हमें नहीं जचता कि कोई हमको कुछ कह रहा है, हमको नहीं समझ आ रहा, it is different from our viewpoint, and we shut them there and then. It is okay. We have to still encourage the other person to share that viewpoint so that we can understand it from their point of view as well, which will actually help us in getting to the solution which we want, which is most desired in this situation. Now, what are the key action takeaways from this? Is sabse pehle 3 important and crucial principles which the author is trying to communicate here is, when communicating, stay focused on your goal to avoid reacting emotionally. Now, you create safe conversations by showing the other person you value their opinion. That is really, really important. And now you use the state method to resolve conflict when it arises. इस तरह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होने के चांसेस और एस्केलेट होने के लिए इन साइलेंस और वायलेंस चीजें नहीं वहां तक पहुंचेंगी. उससे पहले ही, if you remain calm, if you have an understanding tone, you will be able to avoid bad situations and come out victorious, not only for yourself but also for the other party in this conversation. Now, one quote from this author, it's the most talented, not the least talented, who are continually trying to improve their dialogue skills. As is often the case, the rich get richer, right? So we might feel that we are the best in conversations, but it is not that. Agar aap truly talented ho, you always know that there is always room for improvement, and that is what we want to do. Communication is one thing which will truly help you through a lot of difficult situations in your life. जितना ज्यादा आप communication में practice करोगे, the better it is, and it will be throughout your journey. Maybe it is with the brand later on when you want to increase that business with the brand, or maybe your the brand or your office or a client has given you unreasonable targets. So here and in a lot of other situations, conversations and how you tackle these conversations and your skill in having effective communications will be the deciding factor between a victory or a defeat. A good conversation, someone who's a charmer, someone who can swindle his way out even out of tense conversation, that is the tea. That is that is what we want to achieve. We want to continuously improve our charm. We want to be better in conversations as well as communication skills so that we can effectively continue to grow in our life. So that brings us to the end